Hi everybody, coming out with your sexuality can be a scary thing. It can be really exciting, exhilarating, and even a little fun. Okay, so maybe a lot of fun. So Sigmund, my puppy, is laying here with me. He may pop up and he may leave, I don't know, to give me some moral support, because I have to admit I was a little nervous about doing this video for you all. But I thought, you know what? Let's get over the nervousness, because it just might help you guys in understanding and being more confident and giving you that little extra push you may need to come out with your own sexuality. So I'm bisexual. Now, it doesn't seem like it may be that big of a thing, especially with everybody coming out gay or lesbian, or, you know, even some bisexualness. But the reality is bisexuals are a little bit of an oddball in society. You know, doesn't seem to be any place that I really felt like I fit in. You know, the GLBT community opened their arms. Gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, that's how they open their arms. But the reality is I found so much discrimination for myself, even within that community. I even had some gay and lesbian couples tell me, why don't I just pick a side? You know, either be straight or be gay or lesbian. Pick one or the other. You can't stay in the middle. And I never understood that concept. Like, I like boys. I like girls. I like both of them. So why do I have to choose one or the other? And I just didn't fathom it, didn't click, and it made me feel like maybe something was wrong with me, or I just didn't quite fit in. And so when I came out, it actually happened in a nightclub. I know that sounds a little cliche-ish, but I was actually in a nightclub is when I decided to just let it out, just go for it. And I found this girl, and she and I were dancing. Actually, we kind of found each other, but she and I were dancing out on the dance floor and really getting along, just kind of hitting it off and, you know, dancing around. And the songs were really good and the chemistry between us was really good. And we started kissing while we were dancing on the dance floor. And I didn't know that she was there on a date. She didn't tell me that. Actually, we didn't talk much, but it was just so exciting that I had found a girl who thought I was cute. I mean, it's nerve-wracking to find people that you hope think that you're cute too. So there we are on the dance floor making out. And all of a sudden, this guy comes up behind me and pulls me off of her physically, grabs my shoulders and pulls me off of her and starts yelling at me, and then looks at her and starts yelling at her. And we're in the middle of this club, and he's freaking out, and he starts yelling all this slanderous commentary and telling us how fucked up it is and how awful we are. And he just starts cussing me out, and I back up, trying to just put some distance between us. And he keeps coming at me, and he's like 2 inches from my face, screaming at me. And I kind of look around to make sure I'm not gonna bump anybody as I'm backing up, trying to just get away from him, because I didn't know what was gonna happen. He was just losing his mind over seeing his date and I kissing. And he kept telling me how it was competition and whatnot. Anyway, so I look behind me, and I happen to see these 5 linebacker sized guys coming up behind me. And I'm thinking one of 2 things. Oh shit, I'm either in a lot of trouble, or these guys are gonna help me. Well, they ended up being bouncers at the dance club, believe it or not. And they ended up coming up behind me and circling around us and grabbed the guy who was starting to push me at that point in time and screaming and yelling profanities at me. They picked him up, they encircled him, picked him up by his arms and carried him out of the club. And I have to tell you, that was the most exciting feeling of support and enthusiasm I think I probably ever could have had in a public acknowledgement that it was okay. What I was doing was okay. And I know not everybody's experience is that positive. Obviously, mine didn't start off that way, ended up that way. And then other guys and couples who were in the club then came up to me and said, hey, are you okay? Is everything fine? You know, did he hurt you? Is everything good? And kind of made sure that the situation was de-escalated, which was an amazing amount of support. But then later on, you know, later that month, I ended up talking to a lot of my friends and expressing how much I liked women, and I ended up losing some people I thought were friends. And that's the key. I thought they were friends, and evidently they weren't, because they didn't support me and they weren't encouraging and they weren't being positive in my choice. And that's something that you really need from the people around you. And if the people around you aren't willing to give you that type of positive energy and support, well, then you shouldn't have them around you. And that's what I started realizing. You know, at first I was really sad. I didn't understand how these people I thought were friends wouldn't support this idea, this concept, this way that I was, and this interest. I supported them in their relationships. Why wouldn't they support me in my relationships? And then I started realizing, you know what, they have bad attitudes about it. And I don't need somebody in my life who's got a bad attitude. I needed positivity, because what I was doing and how I made, there was nothing wrong with it. And as time went on, I found people who were those positive influences, who were bisexual themselves, or gay, lesbian, or heterosexual, that were just okay with it and didn't see anything wrong with it. They understood that people have different preferences, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I started gaining more and more of friends from the GLBT community. And you know what was saddening to me, because at that point I had become more confident and more secure in being bisexual and realizing, you know what, I don't care if you like it or not. This is the way I'm made, and there is nothing wrong with the way I'm made. And I don't have to choose one or the other. If I like both, why not? Why not keep liking both and dating both? Which I did. And sometimes when I was dating a guy, I would be dating a girl at the same time. And I let them know, hey, look, I'm bisexual. This is just the way it is. It's not changing. It's not a phase. I'm not experimenting. This is just me. I like men and I like women. And when I got more friends in the GLBT community, I was so shocked by the fact that even within that community, bisexuals just didn't fit in. It was like there was a level of discrimination within the community. The one community that you're supposed to be able to turn to for acceptance was telling me there was something wrong with me, that it wasn't right. Now I know that not all communities in every city of the GLBT community has that perception, but unfortunately I still find it happening, and a lack of acceptability of being bisexual. And it's saddening to me. It's hurtful, because here I had supported so much of the community in helping them gain their acceptance within society, within their own community, and for themselves, that I didn't understand why I wasn't getting it in return, when it was something that was very similar, actually exactly the same as what they had been fighting. So I decided to start educating people and helping people understand that it's not competition for the men because I like women, and it's not competition for the women because I like men. And what I realized, this was an amazing thing and really exciting and really confidence boosting for me, was there were a lot more bisexual people out there than anybody realized. See, I kind of follow the belief system of Kinsey. I don't know if any of you know about Kinsey, the Kinsey report in the 1950s that talked about human sexuality and that we are multisexual people. Now, that does not mean all of us, but there are quite a few of us. That is a situation for them. That is how they're made. That's how I'm made. And the more and more I got comfortable with myself, the more I started attracting the right kinds of people. People who were open and acceptable, even if it wasn't their thing or the way that they were made. They were okay with me being that way. And that was amazing. That was so invigorating to know that, wow, there's other men and women out there who are bisexual. And I started talking with them. And they were having similar situations. You know, some of them, their family disowned them. I've been very fortunate. My family's been very supportive. Even if they don't understand or they don't agree, they're still supportive and they're very loving. It's just something that we don't talk about a lot. I only bring people around that side of the family that I'm really serious about, that I really like, and I've been in a semi-serious relationship for a while. And that has helped because I just try to respect the boundaries and people's level of acceptability. I don't change who I am or how I feel, but I do try to be respectful of the other people. And I love both sides, men and women. And that's a beautiful thing. And I started realizing there's nothing wrong with me. And if you're this way, there's nothing wrong with you. And you don't have to choose. Don't let your friends pressure you into feeling like you have to choose male or female, because you don't. And there are plenty of people out there who are looking for the exact same type of relationship you are. There are people who are looking for bisexual people for their own acceptability. There's couples who are looking to date men or women, or maybe both. You know, I've been in a relationship with a couple. As a couple, I have even been asked to be a single female and with another couple when I was 16. That's actually how I found out I had bi curiosities, and that maybe it wasn't just all one way like my parents or the community I was raised in. I didn't have to just like boys. I actually had a couple approach me that I knew that I had sort of been friends with for a little bit, asked me to join the relationship. Now, I didn't have an interest in them in that way, so I chose not to. But what it sparked in me was a curiosity and an interest that maybe I like girls too. Because there was something inside of me when they asked that stirred up little butterflies. You know how you get nervous when you really like somebody or you like a certain sex? Well, that's what ended up happening to me, and it made me stop and think. I'm like, well, maybe I don't like just boys. I always thought I just liked boys. And then after that, I had a couple of girlfriends who were lesbians, not dating each other, but who had asked me to join their lesbian couples. And I knew I didn't just want a complete lesbian relationship. I knew I liked boys, so I declined those offers too. And then I started finding, this was all in high school, and then I started finding other bisexual women. They were just friends, platonic, but they were having similar situations and instances. And this was before it was ever popular or okay to be gay or lesbian. You know, that community was still having a lot of social struggles and acceptance. So being bisexual, I just didn't talk about it. I just looked at women and liked them and talked to them, and I was around them and found other women who were okay with it. You know, those private conversations you have in your bedroom late night with your PJs and slumber parties. Yeah, that's when it took place. And I had some people who weren't okay with it. But you know what? I realized I didn't need them. I didn't need them in my life. So I moved on and found people who accepted me for who I was, because that helped me accept myself. So don't be afraid to tell your friends and your family if you feel like you need to. Don't be afraid to date a girl or a boy or both. Don't be afraid to date a couple, because you're beautiful the way you're made. And there is so much pleasure, there is so much acceptability out there, and there is a community for you. There are people just like you all over the world who are facing the same struggles and difficulties and succeeding and finding partners and people who love them. So don't think your idea of marriage has to go out the window, because there are people out there looking for someone just like you. So go for it, because I'm here, I'm supporting you, and I'm sending you all of the warmth and affection and strength that I can muster and send across in this video. So go for it. We're behind you. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. I hope this helped even just a little bit for one of you out there. Everything's gonna be okay, and you're gonna come out a stronger, more beautiful, wonderful person by accepting yourself and by finding people to have in your life who accept you for the beautiful person that you are. Go for it. It's worth every moment of happiness. Anyway, bye. Boys. Have you ever been accused of being a little boy crazy? I have. I always used to say if you were ticklish on your knees, then you're boy crazy. So try it. Are you ticklish? Are you ticklish on your knees? I am. They are so hard to talk to sometimes.